Hello guys, welcome to another Empires Building episode. Today guys, I have hand-drawn the World War II map. Some things I horribly screwed up, like China. I don't really remember what China looked like, but I believe this is the wicked borders of China. I'm pretty sure. There's also Poland, which I may have screwed up quite a bit. I'm not good at drawing borders. Like here, let me try my best. Let me try kind of this. No, that looks too much like the German Empire. It's kind of troublesome, isn't it? Yeah. It's kind of hard for me to draw the borders, yeah. So in my opinion, this is the best. I also don't really remember Poland's border with the Soviets. It was kind of like this. I don't remember. This is my best attempt. Anyway, this video will be about France, okay? So here, we're gonna try and make France. We're gonna have France do something very special, which is actually not capitulate. Right? So here's the plan. So of course we have Germany doing Germany things. Wait, I need a better gray. Germany be doing Germany things, and of course the first move is to remilitarize the Rhineland, but France will do something shocking. Instead of allowing Germany to annex the Saarland, they will annex the Saarland for themselves, therefore helping France's coal economy, because France has very little coal in its own buildings. After that, Germany will remilitarize the Rhineland, and then what they will do, first things first, is they will knock on the Danish door, demanding all of Schleswig and Holstein, which the Danish are forced to comply with. Black. Anyway, so the Danes end up losing this much. Yeah, I believe that's the current borders of the old German Empire. So the Danes happily give it up as they don't want too many Germans in the land. They actually never wanted this land. The Entente actually forced them to gain these lands. Anyway, after that, they also finally send another ultimatum, which demands Denmark's full subjugation, which they end up doing. So because of that, Denmark ends up becoming a puppet of Germany. So, however, Britain's not tolerating that. So because of that. Wait, let me choose a nice orange color for the British. Britain will end up embargoing Germany and also laying mines in the Danish coast, which really peeves off Norway, but Norway doesn't want to declare war on the UK. So, and then of course, Germany does more Germany things, and there's the Anschluss. And then they do the Anschluss before Italy and Germany Hungary and Germany pair up, and Hungary this time around gains Burgenland. So yeah, the Hungarians gain Hamburgerland this time, like that, because they want the Hamburger. And then Germany will send a ultimatum to Luxembourg, demanding their subjugation. This is a lot different because, again, Luxembourg agrees, and then Germany goes stronger. However, France is making moves. While Germany does all this expansion, they the reason why I wanted Germany to settle Denmark and annex Luxembourg is so France and Belgium can pair up. Okay? Because they used to have an alliance with each other until the Belgian king decided to go the neutrality path, which prevented the French from defending them. So the Germans basically did the Schlieffen and broke through. Now, because Germany gained Luxembourg, Belgium wants to renew the alliance. So like that. Now, time for Spanish Civil War time. I believe this. Wait. This. I believe this is the correct Spanish Civil War. Let me cut this off and then snip, kind of like this, and then snip. So I believe this is the correct Spanish Civil War borders, with the nationalists on this side and the Democrats on this side. Now, here's what we need to happen now. We need France to actually give aid to Republican Spain. Okay, so this time, France will be sending a lot more aid to Republican Spain. And not only that, they will seize key spots, such as Morocco and Western Sahara for the Republic of Spain, along with Equatorial Guinea for the Republic of Spain. Before starting a naval invasion for Gibraltar. So yeah. So the invasion of Gibraltar from Morocco starts, and they successfully easily capture the very south, while the Republican forces swing around in a pincer maneuver in an attempt to encircle some divisions, as you can see, as the nationalists were planning to do a spearhead to Madrid, which is like right over here, right here. So yeah. So because of that, yeah. However, the nationalists are gonna do some pushback. Are gonna do some pushback in the very middle, in the more flatland area, where they're gonna succeed a lot more. After a while, a shocker. Wait, not so really shocking. Mr. Stalin ends up supporting a revolution in Catalonia, a communist revolution in Catalonia. So yeah, they end up inspiring a Catalonian revolution, and then the Catalonians immediately start doing massive gains, mainly in the nice smooth coast of Valencia. Well, the people are more supportive of Catalonia, but inland is much harder. Now France declares war on Catalonia because they are really angered by this, by their attacks on Spain. So France is actually in the Spanish war, technically. However, they're just declaring war on the communists, not the nationalists, because they do not want to anger Mr. Mustachio Man, as the Maginot will continue from Switzerland across Alsace-Lorraine and into Belgium, fortifying the Ardennes too, and fortifying Ulpen-Malmedy. So here's their main. So yeah, let me get off of this. Yeah. So anyway, here's the main plan. They're gonna defend Brussels, and they'll do this main front line. But this is their main defensive line. Okay, this is their defensive line. So this is where the Maginot Line is gonna be. They're gonna hold the river line in Belgium. I believe this is the river line, and then they're also gonna hold Alsace-Lorraine. So yeah. Now back to the invasion. France will start the invasion from the very north, but in a very unpopular move by its people, by the Spanish, the French will actually annex these territories for itself. They'll annex the territories. They'll end up annexing these territories for themselves, while the Republicans would successfully capture the major city of Valencia and capitulate the commies. Now Stalin in Moscow is basically throwing the baby tantrum as they didn't get Spain. Woohoo! So yeah. Anyway, France will successfully capture Catalonia, but Spain is still angry at that. Really angry. Rather, wait. Let me fix this border a little bit more. So it looks a lot more like Catalonia. I believe this is the correct region of Catalonia. Yeah. And then the French will send an ultimatum to the nationalists, demanding the handing over of all the Basque lands in Spain, which they end up agreeing to. So yeah, which peeves off Spain even. Anyway, the invasion of nationalist Spain will continue as further pushback from the west, with the goal of encircling the middle section, will cause the nationalists to be forced to retreat out of southern Spain, and they will also completely lose the main. Wait, wrong color. There. They'll lose these two main parts from the very north, and they also lose their occupation zone. So after that, France feels safe to be able to blitz through nationalist Spain, as the fall of Bilbao ends up happening before the fall of Burgas completely capitulates the nationalists. So the peace treaty is very simple. Spain will end up being united at a hefty cost, aka the loss of Catalonia and the Basque region. But in return, France declares war on Portugal. So yeah. Anyway, they will be backed up by the British, causing the Anglo-French War. Causing the massive Anglo-French War, as Portugal and Britain have an alliance. The French Navy mainly strolls in the English Channel. However, they're more successful, as Germany, seeing an opportunity, declares war on Czechia, therefore declaring war on Britain, as they had guarantees on Czechia. So Czechia is completely encircled. So here's their main plan, okay? They're gonna give up southern Slovakia and Bratislava to attempt to hold out in the mountains, along with using the fortified Sudetenland. However, the Germans will make a massive push to the major city of Brno in Czechia, threatening an encirclement. So many divisions are diverted from the north. So Germany is able to make a small little push in the very north. So yeah. So yeah. There's also small little pushes from Evra into Czechia. However, the major air force is able to continuously bomb the Luftwaffe, so they're successfully holding out. Now, after the German and the British Navy are colliding, the French are able to invade Portugal, as the distraction of Germany causes Britain to end up forgetting about Portugal. So a main easy push due to Portugal's political struggle, reaching the major city of Porto, and pushing mainly from the south, capturing the city, along with the fall of Lisbon, completely capitulating Portugal, along with them gaining the Azores. So, taking advantage of how overstretched the British nation is, they will take advantage of that and then use the Azores as a massive military base for the Atlantic. So yeah. Anyway, in the south, Britain will make extremely, and I mean extremely, massive gains in the Sahara, as in West and Southern Africa, because the French are planning to hold on to Gabon and Southern Cameroon, as that's jungly. Because that's jungly, and they also are holding out in Mauritania and Algeria through the Sahara. So yeah, wait, wrong part. Through the Sahara. So the British will mainly seize that part. The stalemate in Indochina is basically stalemate because they have a very small border over here, and it's extremely mountainous. So yeah. However, the Soviets are going to take advantage of all the major powers fighting each other except for America. So, because of that, the Soviets will go on a rampage. First, they will annex the Republic of Mongolia. Second, they will end up annexing Xinjiang, angering the Republicans. So, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Japan. But anyway, Japan's just really chilling, as in this timeline, China will end up agreeing to the Soviet demands, handing over all of Tibetan, all of the Ma and the Kyrgyzstan, I believe that's what it's called, also known as Xinjiang. They'll be forced to completely hold that. They'll also completely be forced to hand that over. But in return, the Soviets are going to protect all of China against the Japanese aggressors. So yeah. Now it's just two major wars: the Soviet-Japanese war, and then the European war. So yeah. Anyway, after the distraction, France, because most of the British Navy is in the North Sea, so France lands from west into Plymouth, and they're able to seize southern. Wait, wrong color. They're able to seize the Cornwallis Peninsula before pushing into Bristol and into Wales, completely screwing over Britain. And quickly, British garrison divisions end up falling back to the Hadrian line, going all the way to Scotland, as England becomes lost cause, as the French tanks are able to steamroll through the flat plains of England. I'm a bit ill. So they're able to steamroll through the British Isles. However, Great Britain will still barely hold on in the Hadrian line. So yeah. After that, the French prepare one last naval invasion of the west of Scotland, completely cutting off Northern Ireland. So they grab Ireland and they demand Irish subjugation, which the Irish are forced to comply with, because they're basically chopped since so yeah. So the Irish are ended up with, what is that cursed border? What is it? Yeah, something's very wrong. I think I did something wrong. There you go. That looks slightly more appealing to the eye. Anyway, the cat after that, the Germans will use the Kriegsmarine to land in Glasgow, and then they'll land in the city of Edinburgh, completely capitulating the British. So here's gonna be the peace treaty of Great Britain. So France will set up a puppet regime in England, in all of England and Ireland. However, in return, Germany will gain a ton of their colonies: Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia. They'll also work on the progress of foreign Middle Africa as their progress with Middle Africa is basically a work in progress. So yeah, and Middle Africa is planning to be formed. So yeah, this is the peace deal. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Yeah, this is gonna be the peace deal. So the puppet regimes will be set up everywhere. Germany will form Middle Africa, along with the seizure of South Africa. Forgot to mention that. So, yeah, with the seizure of South Africa. However, France will seize most of the northern colonies, along with India and Australia, along with Canada, and they'll also seize Britain's European holdings. So yeah. Now, Stalin makes more moves. Like, for example, complete subjugation of the Baltics. So yeah, Stalin be doing the Stalin things, aka land and lastly land. So yeah, those are quite common things. So yeah. So so the Soviets will create the Baltic SSR. So yeah, and also the Winter War will begin. So yeah, classic old Winter War stuff. So yeah, with China's progress against Japan, it's actually quite basic. It's just gonna be like the push into Beijing, into the city of Beijing. 20 pictures. And then the Soviets will take advantage of their main advantage. However, Japan will seize the Sakhalin Island before the Soviets will continuously push into Manchuria. So yeah, they'll also start their push into Korea. So yeah. Now Japan, realizing that they're kind of chopped, will next. Germany seeks more bigger gains, bigger and better gains. So against Czechoslovakia, so they'll do a more aggressive style. They'll actually do blitzkrieg this time, with most of the tank divisions being freed up as garrison divisions against Britain. The great pushback in the Sudetenland is more efficient. And then after the fall of the Sudetenland, Prague is encircled and Czechoslovakia capitulates. So here's going to be the very simple piece here. It's going to be extremely simple. Hungary will gain Slovakia, while Germany will gain Bohemia and will get Bohemia and Moravia. So yeah. Boop. And then boop. So yeah, Hungary becomes the great nation of Chicky Nuggy. Now the invasion of France. So Germany declares war almost immediately on the Netherlands. However, the Netherlands, in a panic, merges with Belgium in a attempt to make sure that both of the nations do not capitulate, making the nation of the Benelux. Before France uses the massive chaos in the Netherlands and Belgium after the declaration of war to puppet them. So yeah, as they slowly bribe. Now France was prepared for this. Was prepared for the Schlieffen plan. So France does France things. Wait. Well. What? How high does the threshold need to be? What if I just go 98? $90? 81? 92? 93? 94? 95? 96. Oh, wait. What? I'm so confused right now. 93 and 94. So, yeah, there we go. At least that semi works. Let me look at the colors. So, the German invasion will start off without a hitch, as there are two main army groups. What's wrong with the... Alright, something's very wrong. Gotta fix this. Boop. And then let me see the brush. Yeah, it's fine. So the German invasion of the Netherlands will immediately start, as the French's first line of defense will be put into action, the Rhine. But it ends up failing, as the French did not realize that the German panzer divisions are way stronger than they actually are. So because of this, France ends up holding on to the Maginot Line, and ends up annexing the puppet in Belgium. So yeah. However, the French realize that they can just continuously tire the Germans out, and with the British fleet, they're able to assault the positions. So, using the British fleet, they will support Danish rebellions in the Jutland Peninsula. So the Danish puppet ends up switching sides and declaring war on Germany, with the now pro-French and Danish country being promised all the lands all the way to Hamburg, whilst the Soviets easily capitulate Manchuria and quickly grab Korea. So yeah. However, the Japanese fleet is incredibly strong. However, after tireless invasions, peace deals struck up. Japan just mainly loses these lands to the Comintern. However, in return, Japan will gain that land. So yeah, we'll keep Korea. So yeah. However, Soviet influence will be heavily prominent in Korea. So yeah. Anyway, a Chinese-Soviet split of Manchuria is agreed upon. Following this line, as the majority northern part becomes a part of the Soviet Union, as the Soviet creates three new SSRs: the Chinese SSR, the Mongolian SSR, and the Uzbekistan SSR. So yeah, this is China's main borders. After that, China, after Soviet influence, the commies are able to greatly expand due to Soviet influence. They're able to push up north and push west due to heavy Soviet support and the recognition of the communists. So because of that, China and the Soviet Union end up having a falling out, along with all the other nations in China, except for Communist China. So because of that, Soviet Union and Communist China will go on the wall of ultimatums, successfully capturing the West. However, the Republic of China is able to create their own little countersphere of influence in the east coast of China. So with Chongqing captured, a main split in the camps is formed. In the east is the nationalist camp. In the west is the communist camp. Is the communist camp centered around Chongqing, while the nationalists are put in Nanjing or modern day Shanghai, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's been renamed to Shanghai. Gotta fix all these borders. And then last one, and boop. So yeah, we'll continue on the Chinese Civil War next episode. So peace out, goodbye, and whatever you say.